Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I got yet another spooky movie review, and this will be the last one of October. So I had to finish it off with not only my favorite horror movie, but also my favorite movie in general. What movie might that be? It is Us by Jordan Peele. This movie was rated a 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, but this movie is a perfect 10 out of 10. I'm not going to go into an extreme deep dive with this movie specifically, because that is in a whole other video itself, because there are a lot of different meanings behind um, different things throughout this movie. And I want to kind of go into that, but I also want to get this video out to you guys before November. So that's just my goal right now. I have about pretty much 20 minutes to record this video and get it uploaded. So I'm going to try to do my best to get through this decently quickly, but also give you guys a good review. All right, so let's talk about it. The moment I first saw this movie, immediately I said it was my favorite movie I've ever watched. I've never been so invested into a film, and it has so many deeper meanings to it, and there's also a lot of symbolism within the movie hinting at what the end of the movie actually is. There's also little details throughout it that I absolutely love, and once again, the one thing I absolutely love the most when it comes to movies in general is a good twist, and this movie has a twist that puts it into a whole other perspective. So part of the reason why I love this film so much, I watched it the first time, there was that twist. I was like, oh my goodness. What did I do? I restarted the film so that way I could watch it again, knowing the twist, and it completely changes different scenes within the movie. And to me, that is brilliant. And I know it's not super uncommon for that to be a thing within horror or within the film industry in general, but I feel like it's so special with Us, at least to me. It's very rarely where I find myself with a first watch saying it's a 10 out of 10 movie, but that's how I felt with this movie. I understand there may be some reasons why people do not like this movie. There are aspects of it where I can understand people not having as much enjoyment, but I think that there was a good comedy relief in it, but not overbearing enough to where it almost seems like it's forcing the comedy. The comedy seemed natural. It seemed like there was some dad humor that would naturally come within a vacation between a family. You also, throughout the entire movie, you have the main character. I'm I don't quite remember her name, um, but you have the main character who the entire time is antsy and is worried and nervous about being there the entire time, and she seems so like overwhelmed and confused. Well, not really confused, but just anxious about everything. And once again, it's one of those moments when you get to the end of the film and you figure out the twist ending, you see it warps your whole perception of the movie up to what you've seen. And I think that is so awesome. Um, I love the symbolism behind the scissors being the poster, because this whole thing deals with people with the whole idea of two people being tethered together, where they were able to make duplicates of people, but only one soul, so they were connected, and I think that is awesome. And these scissors, they are together, they are tethered together because these are like classic art scissors. That's the best way I can describe them, because I used similar scissors during art class. But you had the ability to take those apart and make them one, or two separate things, or have them together as one. And it also has meaning behind the overall story of Us as well. And I think that is brilliant. And I only found that out literally midway through the movie, because I was like, huh, I never really thought to look into it. So because of that, I was literally just planning on watching the movie, giving a review, saying that's it. But because of that, it made me kind of want to go on a deep dive into the movie Us and look up a lot of things behind it. And that's what I feel like I'm going to do specifically with Jordan Peele as the director, because he has so many specific things within the movie where you will often miss it. So when you go back and you watch it again and you watch it again and you watch it again and you watch it again, you see more details. And to me, with that being the case, when you have a show or a movie or a TV series, if you have it to where every single time you watch it, you're noticing little details and you're getting more out of it, to me, that tells you that that is a good film. And that's how I feel with this movie. If anyone ever asks me what my top 10 movies are, which I do actually plan on making a video of, a lot of them predominantly I feel like are going to be horror, because that is the overall genre I prefer. It was a long time in between my breaks of watching horror films, though, and the movie that fully got me back into the swing of watching them was this movie. I watched this movie, then I turned around and watched Get Out. I watched this and then Get Out, and I thought they were both brilliant. I typically, when it comes to my top 10 movies, they often swap a lot. And that's also the same with my top 10 wrestling or my top 10 anything. And that's the way I think it should be, constantly changing, because as we grow older, we change and we are different people. But there's always my number one when it comes to things. And those are the ones that do not move. You have my favorite movie being Us. Since I have watched it, I have put it at number one. And up to that point, I didn't really have a number one movie. It's kind of I like these movies, but once I watched this one, it was immediately number one. Same with Kurt Angle. Same with Breaking Bad. The moment I watched it, immediately was at number one, and probably nothing will go back and forth. Sitcoms, How I Met Your Mother, will not go back and forth. So pretty much to have those number one things that I feel so connected to, it's why every single time I go back and I rewatch these, I'm just enjoying it the entire time. Us is a movie I can watch 100 times and still have so much enjoyment from it, because every single time I watch it, I feel like I leave it knowing more about the film and understanding the overall progression of the story. And I love that. Today was kind of a yap fest, so I do apologize. But honestly, if you have not checked out the movie Us, 100% recommend. And if you do not like it, that is perfectly okay. You guys should also let me know down in the comments below what your favorite horror movies are, so that way I can review a few of them. I got some more movie reviews for you guys. This is not the end of the series, but this is the end of the series, specifically in October. And I had to treat myself a little bit. I watched bad horror movies. I watched gruesome horror movies. I watched great horror movies. I watched bad horror movies. I watched all of the above. I watched Abraham Lincoln vs. Zombies, which surprisingly has a lot of views on my channel. Anyway, I'm so glad to, one, be able to create this content for you guys. I'm so glad you guys have been enjoying this. So, of course, I had to finish it off and treat myself with my favorite movie of all time, being Us, 100%. Once again, if you have not watched it, you should. And if you do watch it, let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed it as much as I did. You may not, but that's okay. That's it for today's video. You guys have a great rest of your day and have a happy Halloween.